Joining me right now, once again, is Cory Aldridge. We are here at a jacuzzi type pool. We got our ducks in a row. We're trying to keep Cory lined up, so.
Keep me in line, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. So I want to talk a little bit about the recent news with Trevor Bauer. I know you've been following this story for a few years. It's something that may be near and dear to your heart. Like it's a fellow player that kind of got wronged by either the system or an individual person. So he's recently been proven innocent, and he missed 3 years of pro ball because of it. The lady is forced to pay back, I think, $300K or something.
Like $300K.
What does that make you feel?
It's becoming way too prevalent right now where people are able to say what they want to say and somebody's automatically guilty before obviously proven innocent. I don't know Trevor really well. I've heard good and bad stuff. To me, he's a good dude. He's obviously a good pitcher. It sucks to watch a guy who was on top of his game, made a choice with a girl. And the worst part about it to me is like they had all this evidence from the get-go to prove him innocent.
Yeah.
And I understand how the court system works and things like that. And that's what sucks about it is like they had the evidence for a long time that they could have done this in 15 minutes and said, you know what? This guy's innocent.
Yeah.
But when you have to go through certain channels of the judicial system, I guess. But, you know, she makes legit scorned women or hurt women look bad. And there's a lot of cases right now going on with that. Like even like the Meg Thee Stallion case. I think it's a couple other girls right now kind of go through the same thing where they're making these claims that are false, that are railroading men. And being a man sometimes, you're automatically wrong. You know, as soon as you break up or something, it's automatically the man's fault, even though it may not be his fault. And it's just, that's what sucks to me. So I hope for him he does get a chance to play. I do hope that Major League Baseball somehow compensates him. What pissed me off the most was like how the other players were like dudes run following him and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
they want no part of it.
Yeah, and I get it, but I don't know. Until the facts come out for me, I'm not just like just throw my guy under the bus like that.
What was crazy was like from the very beginning, he himself had the proof.
Yeah.
He was showing the text messages saying, this girl knows how much I'm worth. This is what she's after. There's other people telling her, go after the bag. What's half of whatever his net worth was. He had that like years ago, and he's trying to prove his innocence, and he still misses 3 years of pro ball and how many millions of dollars because it's like, oh, somebody said he did this, guilty. And now he's innocent. Like, what is supposed to happen? It like sucks because an athlete's prime is short.
But I feel like that's where Major League Baseball, like I know like when you go to spring training, you have these little entities in baseball where they're supposed to protect you from these things. Now, I forget, they call it the baseball police. And you would think that...
Is that like the players union or like...
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's part of the players union, but something like it. But even the players union.
Yeah.
Like if this man is walking around with these texts of proof, I feel like at some point they should be able to step in and say, hey, look, man, this is kind of our arena here. We can't let this happen. But like I said, I just feel like baseball. And I don't know, like I will say this. I know that Trevor is a really outspoken guy. I know he said some choice things about baseball, and I think maybe Manfred or whoever the
commissioner.
Yeah, commissioner was at the time. But at the end of the day, it should be right is right, or wrong is wrong. And it's just like you said, it sucks because he did have all the proof from day one. Yeah. And I felt like, that's where Major League Baseball should step in and say, hey, this is what it is.
Do you think he's going to get another chance to play?
I don't think so. I think
even if he's still good enough to pitch?
I just think baseball's stubborn. And, like, some people hate to admit they're wrong. It's just human nature.
Why not the good comeback story? Like, he's been proven innocent by the court of law.
Yeah.
He's cleared. He can still pitch. Why not give him a chance?
I hope he does. I really do hope. And, I mean, obviously there is a percentage of chance. But, like, I really think because of the way people are not wanting to admit they're wrong, and then also to him being very vocal about Major League Baseball, like he wasn't the most quiet dude. He wasn't walking around like, oh, I miss baseball, and he was still being Trevor Bauer, even though he's right.
Yeah.
But I just think that's what it is. But Is he even playing this year? Is he in Japan again?
Yeah, he was overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, like because I think I saw he was in Japan, but
Dude, he can still pitch,
the guy
man.
can pitch. The dude was throwing like 98 last year in Mexico,
Gosh,
and it was
man.
nice. I think a guy like him can help a team, especially a young team, being a veteran presence. Like I was kind of talking about that. I actually talked to my agent today, my old agent, and we were
making a comeback.
Nah, I'm trying to help some kids get drafted, man, or getting some guys from representation.
Yeah.
But that's what we were talking about was how the game of baseball has changed from when I was kind of playing. You had older guys on the bench helping the younger guys learn how to be big leaguers, man, what to do, what not to do, kind of pay it forward as you move on. And now I think baseball has become a bunch of young guys trying to figure it out. And the respect of the game, I say, is kind of lacking because everything now is just branding and being hype and popular. But he could be a great addition to a team, you know, kind of like Verlander was, even though he wasn't the best pitcher at the time, or Scherzer, but you're helping the young guys become what you were.
So, okay, so let's back up a few years. You know, Trevor Bauer, he engages with this woman like he's got every right to,
Yeah.
right? What should pro athletes do in situations like that? You know, whether you're single, married, you know, you're messing around or you're participating in these extracurricular activities. What do you do to protect yourself?
Man, you gotta. I think we're at the point now where you gotta get like NDAs or something.
I
man.
ain't even done telling the question, and you're laughing
I'm
already, bro.
just telling you because well, it's so. This is
Like, I've heard like Shannon Sharp get like contracts.
you
saying,
have to.
You ain't gonna talk
Guys
about
do it.
nothing.
Like, dude,
Like,
I,
That's legitimate. Like
I
a
think-
contract, before we engage in any sort of relationship, you're gonna sign this that I didn't force you into anything. I didn't hurt you.
get these people on camera and be like, hey, this is consent, right? And I want the women to be protected if it's legit.
Sure. Yeah.
But let's just keep it real. Like in the entertainment world, somebody's always trying to get a buck, men and women. It's always a scam somewhere. But I mean, if doing NDAs is legit, yeah. But I just think that I don't know, keep it in your pants, man. But it's just a different time where everybody has phones, everything's recorded. Like I mean, when I was playing, I mean, like my first year of baseball, '97, I think AOL had just got online. You know, you were plugging it in. Yeah, like then you came MySpace, but like, and I mean, I'll just keep it 100. Like there's things I know that I've seen happen or happened or didn't happen, and it would not fly right now. You know, and just so like the stories are better back then, but
There was nowhere to tell them.
I just think like because of that too, it's tough to live. Like even just going out to dinner. Let's just say me and you are ball players. We go out to eat. I don't know, Ruth's Chris or something. I don't know. And you take a picture with a girl, right? All she has to do is post that picture and say something derogatory, and you're automatically guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Jeez, man.
And so, and that's just kind of where we are. But I don't know. Like you just got to be careful. I mean, but if they can do NDAs, that would be awesome.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk a little bit about, I don't want to get into people's business, but prenups with high-profile athletes. I know you went through some big contracts early in your day. You went through some relationships that didn't quite work out, and you've said it in the past, like that sort of distraction, having to deal with the court system, and while you're trying to play was huge for you.
Yeah.
So, for example, Travis Hunter just recently got married. He's about to probably sign a huge contract with Jacksonville, and famously didn't do a prenup, right? And to each his own, right? Love is love. If that's a forever relationship, I ain't even done talking, bro. You're over here laughing. I don't like getting into too much people's business, but just in general, like an athlete like that who is gonna come across 30 mil quickly, if she decides that she's done, she gets 15 right off the bat. Like, but if you trust a relationship, cool. All power to him, right? Don't give me that look, dude. But you went through it. You went through it, early relationships with money, and then, like you said, somebody who's never hit a fastball gets half of it.
Again,
Go ahead.
there's my girl's gonna be mad at me, but if I have to be honest, and I won't put everybody. There's not in 2025, I'll just say this. There's not much benefit for your average dude to get married.
Okay.
Because, understand this, right? When I talked to you about my divorce, we went to the golf course that time, right? And I'm telling you, like, how terrible it is. I've talked to many of my friends over the past 5 years, and we talk about divorce, and they're like, man, it sucks, especially guys that lose money.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Marlon Bird, he's talked about his, who lose money. Flip the script, you get women that talk about going through divorce. Oh, girl, it's great. Like, I'm not wrong, man. So it's like, it's two different dichotomies of people. It's like, even just in general, like raising kids, right? As a young boy, you're normally raised to open the door, take her out, make sure you treat her like this.
Sure. Be a gentleman.
Most women, again, not all, a lot of them, and especially 2025, you're taught to know your worth and do this and take this and do that and be independent. You got two people that are taking it. You got one person that's taking and one person that's trying to give. So like in 2025, like, it's very tough to be a dude and be like, yeah, I want to marry that, because to be honest, you put yourself in a contractual situation and you're not really getting anything you can't get from somebody else that you're not married.
Yeah.
But I want to be married. I like to have a life partner. I don't really have anything to lose at the moment right now. So, and I think I'm doing okay as far as what I have right now. So I think she's doing a really good job. But I look around the streets. Look around the streets.
Cory from the streets.
Yeah.
And his Lululemons and his Tiffany's.
Hey, it's for Cory right now. No, I look around and it's crazy because, like, I see a lot of these young kids. And I actually had a conversation yesterday with some boys about, they're asking me about girls and things. And I'm like, guys, like, you got to kind of respect yourself and also value your own stuff versus just putting somebody else first. But it is tough right now because I think everything now is, everything's temporary.
Yeah.
Everything sounds good until you have to put the work in, and that's on both sides.
Yeah.
It's not just girls, just guys. Like, but I do think that in most cases of marriage, it sounds really good until somehow, some way, you're not feeling awesome that day or that week or whatever, or you see something else you like, and then microwave age, man, it's ugly. Yeah. I couldn't be I can't be single right now. I could, but that wouldn't be good.
So put yourself in a 21-year-old shoes, top 5 pick, about to come across that much money, and you're about to get married.
Do I know what I know now?
Sure, or you're going to give the advice to someone in that situation, knowing what you know now, living what you've lived.
Man.
Is there anything that tells you go through it and don't do a prenup?
No.
I'm not talking about from a love perspective. I'm talking about from a financial business decision. You trust what you know, but you might not completely know what the other person's thinking.
I'm gonna use, she's here, but I'm gonna use her advice. Like she always says all the time, my girlfriend, she says, getting married super young sometimes, especially girls, like you don't know who you are. So we grow as people sometimes. I think getting married super young, it can have its positives because you have kids young, you still have energy, things like that. When they do go to college, you guys are still young. But for a guy that's an athlete, and depending on his already past experiences, I would say, man, play first, figure out what you want, really get the streets out of you, because I'm saying, man, because what you don't, and this is what I told this is what I told the kids yesterday. I said, being a guy, if you're getting girls, you like, don't be an asshole. Like, don't be a guy that lies a lot. Don't be like, be upfront. That way they know what they're getting into versus you having to remember lies. Being a player, if you're gonna be a real player, like being a player to me is like being honest and still getting what you want versus having to like lie to different people. Yeah. But I'd rather you be honest. But I think like right now, again, it's at 21 years old, getting a lot of money. You haven't really experienced. Most guys don't know enough, and like. Nowadays, at that age, every time you start talking to younger guys about what they need to do, they think you're hating. Because I know Travis Hunter ain't listening to Dion. And that would be the first person I listen to.
That part's crazy to me because he's got Dion in his corner who's gone through it.
Man, like, and
maybe
whether
Dion
you like Dion or not, it's like you've seen this man
Yeah.
lose a lot.
Yeah, and he's learned from it.
And I really, truly hope it doesn't happen that way. But I can bet a lot of money he about to get screwed over.
Well, I sure hope not.
I mean, I hate to say this, but if you literally think about where most women that get wealth come from, unless you and your husband are building together,
Here it comes.
divorce. I mean, more than over 80% of divorces are initiated by women, and a lot of time, and I think the majority coming from the therapist. It's not because somebody's cheating; it's because she doesn't feel fulfilled or blah 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 blah. I guess it gets boring. There's no enduring anymore.
Yeah.
I think that men don't stay in a relationship regardless whether they're doing good or bad. They like to be married. I know, like as a woman, man, you can go to your DMs and like get your dopamine rush, right? And as a man, you got to have value to go out there and get something. As a woman, we'll take a woman that works at Burger King and wife her up, but your average girl won't do that to the guy. Like most men tend to date down, and vice versa. But it's true, man. I wish that people did value loyalty or working through hard times. I think being an athlete, because I've had a bunch of friends go through divorce, the conversations that have been had, they were like, we always said the same thing, like, why did we stay here so long? Knowing what was maybe going on, and the consensus, what I told one of my guys, man, I said, because you're a ball player and you're trying to figure it out. You think you can fix it. And I said, you ended up becoming more loyal to everything else but yourself. And you just sat there and just kept hurting yourself and stressing yourself out and hoping it was going to change. And also too, the consequences of leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the consequences of leaving are not on your side. But you would just, I don't know what the benefit is right now.
I know we've talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
And I know you got a book coming out here soon. One of the conversations that kind of took me back is when we started talking about fake barriers.
Man,
with your upbringing, what you were told to think, the way you thought was the correct thinking, and then as you got older, it was almost complete opposite.
Yeah.
So if you could kind of explain what that thought was and when you kind of realized, man, maybe I was taught wrong.
Well, I think a lot of times as parents, especially in my community, the black community, like we think that respect is silent. So what I mean by that, like if you go tell your kid to go mow the yard, and if I say to my mom, like, why? Well, in that instance right now, I'm wrong for questioning my mom, versus that being like a moment where she can teach me a lesson. So
yeah, you're being defiant.
Yeah, so right there, that teaches me as a kid not to question authority. So then when I get older and I go out in the neighborhood, the older kids are saying, hey, Cory, how about you go do X, Y, Z, man, go flatten that tire, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, instead of like learning to question authority. I don't think that asking why is a bad thing. Now, obviously, if you're doing it disrespectfully, that's a different story. But that's a teaching moment for you to say, well, I want you, number one, to learn how to mow the lawn because you might have to get a house one day or wash the dishes. Most of us are never able to question anything. In church, you can't question. You don't question God. So for me, I was always told even when like it was something I should have been knowing, it was like, hey, what about sex? Don't do it. What about drugs? Don't do it. What about alcohol? Don't do it. There was never real conversations of the pros and cons where I could actually make my own decision. So once I kind of got to pro ball, and I talk about it in the book a lot, I got to pro ball, I learned that the majority of things that, number one, that I learned in school had been told about the world, been told about other people, the people I was told that were dangerous. It wasn't true. It was actually the opposite. Like, I was brought up in that fear-based community of somebody's gonna hold you back, or
Fear of what though?
most of it, majority of stuff is like racist rhetoric, like hey, you know, which is weird because it's weird because like all our friends are white. It was fake fear that had no basis on it. And so like when I got out in the real world and I would see certain people, like in my mind, I'm like, well, this guy's not supposed to like me, or this guy's gonna be against me. But in fact, it was always the opposite of like, well, this GM likes me, or this coach likes me, or this school administrator has helped me. And it was like the people that were in my community around me were the ones that were stealing my shit, owing me money, you know, trying to get my girlfriend. Like my ex-wife, it wasn't a white dude that was trying to hit it. Like it was, you know what I'm saying? Like she didn't cheat with 2 white dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew, and one of the dudes I knew, I tried to give the dude money. I'm like, damn, man, this is what I'm saying. I'm like, I sat in the car with one of the dudes one day talking about like building something with him. I'm like, no, this is wild, man. That's when I knew. That's when I knew it's over.
So you have this ideology of your culture, your people are going to be the ones to help you and protect you and get you through things. And anybody who is not that is against you. And then as you get older, you realize that the people who you are supposed to fear are actually helping you out.
Yeah.
They're giving you the opportunities. They're trusting you. They're, like you said, not stealing your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so what's that moment like where you're like, oh, why do I have this weird fear of these people and now they're helping me? And what's that thought like?
Well, as a young kid, it's weird because...
So you didn't realize it until you got to pro ball, right?
Yeah, like pro ball, well, you go into a situation now where you got dudes from Korea, Japan, Venezuela, Mexico, California, Wisconsin. Like one of my best friends in baseball, back when I was playing, a kid named Brad Boyles. He had never seen a black person before. I was like the first one he ever met. We were tight as hell. He goes, I don't understand this racism thing. I was like, what are you talking about? He came to my locker. He goes, you guys are kind of cool. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm like, that's racist, bro. But he said that. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, where I'm from, you know, there's only been like one F and where I'm at. I'm like, oh. But I think.
That's like you and Wilson Betterman.
My boy Wilson. I just think, you know, you have TV propaganda. Again, TV and entertainment is all fear-mongering based on controlling people's emotions. But, I got into watching older dudes, I would say older white guys that I was told that didn't like black or Hispanic people or Latins and whatever, that were the guys that were, hey, Cory, listen, man, you need to, you know, if you don't make it to the big leagues, it's your own fault, you know.
Yeah.
This is what you need to get better at. You're a high character guy. And this is like Dayton Moore of the Royals or Braves at the time, or
was this like Chipper and
dudes like that, like John Smoltz would come to my locker damn near every day in spring training. And again, and I know now that I'm older, I think I talk about this in the book too a little bit, but like now that I'm older, I know what people saw. Like as far as me, I know
what they saw in you.
They saw a highly talented kid that needed to mature a whole lot. Was a good kid, but my views of the world were jacked up, man.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to no fault of your own.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I can't, you know, as parents, I don't want to I'm not bagging on my parents by any means, but we just only know what we know, and you pass down what you pass down. And sometimes I know in our community where it's always this is what we've always done mentality. And that's dangerous because there's not much growth from that. And so what you end up doing is you become the black sheep. Like I remember coming back home, like having all these crazy stories about, man, I was with Peyton Manning and I did this and I met this and I saw this and I went and traveled here. My parents were like, yeah, man. So Daryl down the street bought a lawnmower. It's like, and like in no fault of their own, it was just, there's no, I don't know, there's no cohesiveness there. It's like, there was no connection there.
Yeah.
It was just, they'd never seen it. And I don't even think they really cared. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird. But I saw people that I literally was told were gonna bury me. Like make my life hard, and they were making my life. They were giving me money. Like here, and they were trying to help me save my money. Like Tom Glavine, now a Hall of Famer, he's a white guy. He was old at the time. You know, he was already late 30s, coming to my locker like, you know, Cory, this is what you have to do. Whether I'm listening or not, you know, Greg Maddux, you know, Cory, this is what you have to do.
But it's to no benefit to them to do that.
No.
But they do it regardless. They see an 18, 19, 20-year-old, you know, black kid who's got all the talent in the world and probably not the best advice, not the best guidance, and probably has a superstition, not a superstition, but like an ideology of them, how they should be, how they should feel towards them, and they're out there helping you. Like, it doesn't benefit them. All you're doing at that point is probably helping the Braves win and stuff, but like giving you financial advice and giving you advice on anything, it doesn't benefit them. But they're doing it regardless.
I remember having a random conversation with Chipper, now that I think about it. We were like breakfast in the morning, and something was said about country music or something. Somehow, some way, I was like, man, I'm not going to no country bar, man. Them people are racist. And we were joking, but Chipper was like, I'm going to bring you down to Florida and take you to this country bar, and I'm going to take you hunting and all this. And he was like, I want to show you that it's not like that. Because I'm just telling you, man, this shit sounds corny to me, and it sounds bad, but like that word floats around. And man, there are racist people. There's bad people. There's good people and bad people. And really, I'll be honest, I think everybody's racist because you hate the bad parts of everybody's culture. And you should. If I don't like the bad part of my culture, I'm sure you don't like the bad. So is that
considered racism if you don't like parts of your own culture?
No, it's called prejudice.
Okay. But if I don't like parts of your culture, is that racism?
Smart. It's called smart. It's called smart.
So it's prejudice for you, but it's called smart for me.
It's a double standard. No, I think. Listen, it's called having discernment.
Okay.
It's called being able to say, you know what, that guy looks like the same people that murdered that guy on all those movies on TV. That guy that's been the last, you know, that guy looks like somebody that works on Wall Street or has a family. That guy, you know, if you can look at every part of the culture and know the bad parts of that culture or who may harm you.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I go to other countries, you can easily identify the bad people in that country. Mexico, I can identify that. Korea, because everybody's the same. It's not a melting pot like it is United States. Here it's a little tougher, but at the end of the day, people dress a certain way, act a certain way, and if you dress like a fireman, I'm gonna call you a fireman. So if you're walking around here with sagging ass pants and a hoodie and a mask on, I don't want to be around you. I don't, because that's what the bad part of my culture looks like.
So it's not right for you to assume the good in that person. You can make your own judgment based off their appearance.
You can, but as soon as you give somebody that benefit, that doubt comes right around the corner.
That doubt comes around.
It's right there. Here, look. Benefit just walking right here. Damn, here come the doubt.
Ducks in a row.
Right?
Nope.
But I mean, baseball has kind of made me hard at life because it makes you sometimes being in that sports entertainment, kind of like the Trevor Bauer thing, right? Like you can't trust everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody's not always out for your well-being. Listen, man, I could have a kid walking here right now with gold chains and sag. He might be the nicest guy. I could have a dude walking here with a Confederate flag shirt on and a trucker hat or whatever. He might be the nicest dude ever. I could have this dude walking around with some Cortez and some Dickie pants, whatever the bad stereotypes are, right? And I've been in that category where those guys are the nicest guys ever. But I don't think it's wrong to judge somebody by their appearance because that's what you're advertising.
All right, let me ask you something. So you can refuse to answer the question if you want. But growing up to now, what does the N-word mean to you then, and what does it mean to you now? Or has it changed?
It doesn't hurt my feelings, number one. There's a handful of meanings behind it. Some of them are actually endearing, but if somebody calls me that, and it hasn't happened a lot, it hasn't happened any recently, I must have done something really awesome to piss somebody off to call me that. So whatever I've done that hurt that person that bad or made that person that jealous enough to call me that.
Yeah.
Because back in the day.
Does context matter?
I don't think, I mean, look, man.
Or is it the word?
Have I used the word with the ER and the A both? Yeah, in the past. Like, I don't think it's a great word in the first place. I know that people use it routinely throughout conversation.
Because you've studied the history of your people,
that's what
and
I'm
you
saying,
know the
right?
history of the word.
So I can give you a positive paragraph on the word, and I can also give you a negative. Like back in the day, you had to really be pissing somebody off or doing something awesome for somebody to call you that. Again, history is not what we thought, right? So, but now when I was younger, I was taught that if somebody calls you that, you had to fight them right there. And I'll be honest, it never really hurt my feelings because it's a word. And I'm like, people say things to hurt people say hurtful things.
Yeah.
And again, just because you say that, I'm not going to automatically say, man, that guy's racist. It's a racist thing to say. But, and I'll just give you a quick story. A couple years ago, and I'm gonna name the guy, but I was in the clubhouse, and a guy that I used to play golf with a lot, we were friends. And so I come in the clubhouse, and I'm talking to the clubby, and we had just played golf that day, and his name is Chris Waters, left-handed pitcher. And I guess he was having a bad day, man. And he was really known for jumping in conversations. I mean, me being Cory, just joking around, I'm talking to the guy. Chris comes in and said something. And I was like, man, shut up. Ain't nobody talking to you. And I kept going back. And he got mad and said, you know, F you, Cory, this, and this. And I was kind of like, damn, he must be having a bad day. And I just kind of, and I knew he was having, so I left it alone.
Yeah.
A couple seconds later, I said something to him like, hey, if you keep going, I'm gonna throw this paper plate at you, trying to make light of the situation.
Yeah.
He said something else, so I threw the paper plate. It did one of these and kind of hit him in the shoulder. And I started laughing, like, that's kind of funny, I actually hit him. He goes, you fucking N-word. And like, my pride was like, damn, what do I do? because like it was one of those situations where like the record scratch, like, yeah. And so like the clubhouse, every one of the players were like,
oh, what's he gonna do?
And I'm like, you know, I'm known for being this big guy, and I'm supposed to be this tough guy that will fight everybody, and you know, you have the perception of the big black guy, whatever. And I was like, damn. And I said, Chris, listen, dude, I'm gonna give you a chance to take it back. I said, I think that's all I said. I'm gonna give you a chance to take it back. And I went back and talked to the clubby. I said, man, this is crazy. And he goes, you know what? I said it. I called you a fucking nigger. And I was like, oh, damn. So then, like, it's like I had to go do it. But I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
But
because you gave him an ultimatum, you had to follow through with it.
But I psyched myself out. I almost killed this kid. Because he's somewhere in the conversation, he had some scissors and like act like he was gonna swipe at me. Then he put them on the table. I was about to stab the dude with the scissors. That's why I don't like fighting. And luckily, Alex Zumwalt, who's a hitting coach for the Royals now, happened to grab the scissors out of my hand as I was walking over. I don't know how he did it. And I went up with the scissors. He had grabbed them, and I just started. And like he never got a punch off. I mean, I just kept on going until like I looked down. I'm like, damn, he's not even fighting back. And that's why I don't like fighting, because I don't want to fight to hurt you. If I'm gonna, I hate to say it, like I was trying to kill this kid.
Yeah.
And I did. And
so why retaliate physically for a word he said when you believe words are just like emotions?
Because
is that you growing up, Cory, from the streets, having to fight a guy who uses the N-word, whether he's a white dude or a black dude, or was that just you giving an ultimatum and following through with it?
Because I was trying to live up to the stereotype of what I was supposed to do.
Dang. That's tough, dude.
Dude, you know how many people go to prison for that type of stuff? People, and it's not just, it's every culture. But dude, I've seen dudes literally crash out because they think they're supposed to act a certain way in a situation.
Oh,
like,
man.
You can say it right now, and I'm just gonna keep moving, man. I'm like, you know what, no, you're right. Because I don't care that much. And usually...
Yeah, but would you, I mean, like...
100%.
You and I are good friends. I wouldn't use the word, even joking around.
I mean, I'll trip you.
But
you take off walking.
But like, in what good context or scenario would I use the word? Not even in an endearing, like, conversation. Like, why use it?
The last time it happened, right?
It's not my culture. I don't know what the word means. I think it's offensive even when black people use it.
Yeah.
Why would I even say it? You know?
I think just people just say it to be hurtful. Like if you're a racist person, more times than not, you're probably gonna avoid people that you don't like. Like if I don't like somebody,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna be around them. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go and put myself in that situation or to do racist things. The majority of time that I've seen derogatory words like that said were in settings where somebody was drunk and got in an argument and said something hurtful because they wanted to fight. That last time it may have happened to me, and he didn't say it to me, but the guy was drunk behind me, and I don't know how the word was said. Somehow the word was said. And everybody looked at me. I'm like, I'm supposed to protect the word.
Hey,
100%. I'm like, what, man? What am I supposed to do now? It's like you're supposed to protect that word at all costs.
Man, dude, that's tough.
So
dude.
people crash out because of that. And
Like the N-word police.
man, that's actually right. I gotta make that shirt. but I'm saying, man.
Don't say it.
But
I gotta respect your authority.
Listen, I'm HR for the N-word. But like I said, I think I don't know every community, right? I don't. I've been around a lot. Like I've been fortunate enough now to have been around multiple countries, rich and poor households. And at the end of the day, everybody cares about each other. We all pass down what we pass down, but just going off of what I've seen growing up especially racism is like a poverty thing. Most people that are poor think about that word. Rich people they're not racist. Billionaires aren't racist, they work together. And again, a lot of it's just propaganda, but I think that you're taught to act certain ways in certain situations. Like you're taught to if you hear that word, it's time to fight. At some point, to me, I got tired of that mentality.
Yeah.
And that's because I saw people like Brian Jordans and Gary Sheffields and other people that I played
Andrew
with that
Jones.
didn't have the victim mentality. Like people that looked like me. Then I had other people from other sides of the country and other sides, of America that treated me well. It never added up.
Well, that's all I got. Appreciate it, dude. That's deep, man.
Travis
I like
Hunter, don't do
that
it, bro. Travis Hunter, don't do it, man. Because you're giving her the benefit. That doubt's around the corner. That's right here.
That second duck.
Here's the doubt right here.
That's the benefit.
That's the doubt right here. I'm gonna put a D right here. Just doubt. That's why he's smiling like that. Because he know he about to scam the other duck.